Welcome to the 14th round of the HSCC Historic Formula Ford 1600 Championship. Comes from the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. This meeting, the HSCC Anglo-French meeting, the French Formula Ford competitors also racing over the weekend. So both on Saturday evening and on Sunday morning there was a get-together. The French series catered for slightly newer cars than the UK series. It was Mike Gardner that won both of their races. But it's for the UK race for us, it's the results of race 1, yesterday's race, that will settle the grid for today's race. 25 cars expected to take the start. It'll be Michael Mallock, yesterday's race winner, that will start from pole position. That close battle he had with Callum Grant, and it will be, of course, therefore Grant alongside him for the start of the race. You see some marshals having to do some clear up work prior to the race after the Alfa Romeo Moniz Club, where he's put a bit of oil down on the circuit. Cars on their green flag lap there next. You see Mallock and Grant on the front row. James Buckton, he got that third position towards the end of that first race. So here start there on the inside of row 2, alongside him Max Bartel who won. Started on the front row yesterday and slowly dropped down to 4th position. Will Nuttall and Simon Toyne on the 3rd row, with Simon Brown there starting 7th. 7 cars yesterday made a break to the rest of the field, so kind of expect the same thing to happen. This race slightly longer than usual, a 25-minute race. The longest races for the series, longest race in 2014. There's Brown then starting 10th, alongside him Brian Morris. And he has the French race Regis Prevost starting alongside him. And alongside him is Dan Pickett, and here complete the top 10. Then we've got Svensson, Stansel, Sturmer, Standel, Wiggins, Handel, Mansell, Slack, Lovett, Helliwell, Dixon, Inez, Ponting, I don't think he's there, Pearson and Williams to make up our 25 car grid. The cars are there on the grid, waiting for the lights to go out, as they do now, and it's the front engine Mallock that starts there from pole position, but it's Callum Grant that makes a better start. It's coming around the outside of Mallock, heading there into Paddock Hill Bend, but Mallock takes the lead, but he runs that wide. So Grant looks up on the inside as they climb the hill up towards Druids, and everyone else has made a good start. They've all got going safely. And it's Grant that snatches the lead away from Mallock at the hairpin. So it's Callum Grant that leads the way like he did at this point yesterday. Then Mallock and Toyne is up to 2rd. A very good start from Simon Toyne to get 3rd position. So the field head their way then up towards Surtees for the first lap. You can see the front group all together. Then Will Nuttall, he's next up behind James Buckton. Nuttall in 5th position ahead of Bartel. Bartel down to 6th, not a good start from him. And Simon Brown is in 7th position. I think Brian Morris led the rest of the pack. So completion of lap 1. It's Callum Grant that leads, but Michael Mallock sliding his car behind him. So the field flow through. It's actually Bones and Benson now. They're in 8th, head of Brian Morris. And slow there into shot Dick Dixon. What's happened there? Let's have a look on board of Dixon then, under braking, and the car snaps away. Does a 360 and he continues. Back to the action though. You can see those 7 cars all together in one long train. It's Roland Spencer ahead of Brian Morris in 8th and 9th, with Regis Prevost behind. In the battle between the two Stansels, it's Kevin ahead of his son Danny in the battle for 11th. On board with John Slack up across the Bond Straight. In front of him we've got Rowan Williams in that Coldwell, going around the outside of Chris Helliwell, and that's a good move from the Coldwell to gain the position. Remember though, Williams coming up from the back of the grid after spinning to the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend yesterday, so now we've got, is that Matthew Sturmer possibly That's the next car on his list. Grant making a gap now to Michael Mallock. He's trying to break the slipstream. Oh, it's a car off. That's Prevost. He's gone straight on there at Surtees. And will he be able to rejoin the circuit, we wonder? There he is. And yes, it looks like he's going to rejoin, but I wonder what happened there. The unusual place to go off. On board with Danny Stanzel now. Looking around the outside of his turn, can't do anything there. He gets to the apex though, and trying to get the run up the hill, up towards Druids, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going underneath the bridge, up on the inside line. His dad leaves him run, and he gets the position, but Kevin stays there around the outside, giving the inside line for Graham Bend. That's exactly what he's done, so he keeps the position for now. He's clattering the curves on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. Was Danny there? Into Surtees. Great race yesterday Danny had, coming up from near the back of the grid, gaining about 10 places over the distance, which is giving him a better grid position today. You can see Cam Grant definitely this gap to Michael Mallock now. He's got a gap back to Simon Toyn and James Buckton, who has nose to tail to battle for third. Svensson and Morris still queuing at it in 8th and 9th, and then up till top 10 now is Kevin Stanzel ahead of Danny, and Dan Pickett was behind the pair of them. There's Louis Handel on board with Michael Mallock. We can go now. He uses loads of curves at Surtees. Down a gear for clearaways. Trying to latch back onto the back of Callum Grant. Trying to see if he can get back into the slipstream. So into paddock we go. One-handed through Paddock Hill Bend is Michael Mallock, professional sports car racer, GT racer. Won the other races he's competed in this season at Alton Park and yesterday here at Brands. The Callum Grant leading at the moment. So again, Matt smacks the curve there through Graham Hill Bend. Back into the battle between the Stanzels. It's still Kevin ahead of Danny, runs out wide, clobbers the curb. Through Graham Hill Bend. Sitting in the slipstream now. Going towards 30s. We look to the inside line. Can't do anything there though. Heading into clearaways. Danny trying to get the run off of the corner. See the battle continue in front between Morris and Svensson. Here we go then, using the slipstream, go to the outside line for Paddock Hill Bend. Later on the brakes is Danny's going to go right round the outside at Paddock, a bit sideways through the corner, using the high, wide and handsome line. He gets into the top 10. Will Nuttall chasing after Paddock a third. He's closed them in. It's Simon Toym in the head of James Buckton. Buckton right in the toe though, and he looks to the inside at Paddock. He gets it done, Buckton up to third, and because of that, that's allowing Nuttall to get closer to them. So it's a 3-car battle now, heading up towards Druids. Toyn goes back up on the inside, gets the position back. Nuttall looking to the inside of Buckton. There's contact there. What's loosened the nose cone. I think Nuttall's car was airborne ever so slightly, and there goes the nose cone. It falls off on the entrance to Graham Hill Bend. Will just adjust in his mirror there. He continues though, still in 5th position, but a bit of a bigger gap now to having to close. Back in it as Buckton dives to the inside of Toyn at clearaways. He's trying to get 3rd position back. This is allowing Nuttall to close him back in again. Nuttall continuing to adjust his mirror there. So up towards Paddock, come Buckton, get the position back. He dives to the inside, there's not much room there. I don't think he's going to get it done, or is he? Because Toyn runs a bit wide on the entrance to Paddock, but he can't do it. It's a 3-car battle again as Nuttall gets involved. He looks to the inside, he goes to the outside. They stay in the same order though. We've got Bartel and Brown in this as well. They're just behind. Through Graham Hill Bend. Passing the stricken nose cone. Nuttall using a lot of road on the exit of the corner there. Through Surtees. And McLaren, and then down a gear for Clearways. Toying on the defensive line there. Both Buckton and Nuttall looking for a quick run on the exit of the corner. Through Clark Curve, you can see the 3 cars all closing in as they use the slipstream as well, heading into Paddock Hill Bend. It's Nuttall that goes to the outside, so Buckton's going to have to go to the inside. He realised he couldn't go to the outside because that's where Nuttall was, but he's got it done nevertheless. Up into 3rd place has gone James Buckton, and following through is Will Nuttall, so they both passed Toyne down to 5th. It's Buckton into 3rd and 4th position now for Will Nuttall. Gets in a bit sideways through the Druids hairpin. Here are the leaders together again. Grant has been closed in by Mallock. Lafferty started now as well. Buckton drifts his way through Surtees. It's got Nuttall behind him, and Simon Brownell all over the back of Simon Toyne, and Max Bartell on the back of that. So that's 3rd to 7th, all in a nice group, heading on to the start and finish straight. And here's the battle back. Danny Stanzel has closed in Bowden Svensson and has closed in Brian Morris. So it's a trio of cars just ahead of Dan Pickett, who goes up on the inside. Dan Pickett's going to gain his place possibly over Kevin Stanzel. The 2 of them are going to run side by side as they go through Clark Curve. On board with Chris Helliwell now, coming up across the line towards Paddock Hill Bend. The second half of the field is Helliwell, he has John Slack go up on the inside. Slack gets moved on the inside at Paddock Hill Bend. Remember, the 2 leaders will be closing in this battle now, because also involved in this a bit of queue of cars, in fact. Because also behind Helliwell is Andrew Mansell, James Lovett, David Innes and Louis Handel. So nice battle this is. Heading on to the Brabham Straight. John Slack trying to break away now from Chris Helliwell. Into Paddock. This time it's Mansell that goes up on the inside to gain a position. So Helliwell's lost 2 places in 2 laps at Paddock, but he's coming back on Mansell up the hill, up towards Druids. Mansell tried to shut the door, but Helliwell's on the inside line, and he goes back ahead. It's allowing John Slack to further out his gap. After making that move on the last lap. Up towards Surtees then, the left-hander, pretty much flat out through there. Helliwell leaving the door open at Clearways, but that's because he's trying to take the swooping line through the corner, which will give him more speed through Clark Curve and onto the Brabham Straight. No room for resting around this Brands Hatch Indy circuit, and a long race it is too, and James Lovett this time has come through. He squeezed up on the inside there at Paddock, and Andrew Mansell following through now up towards Druids. The 2 of them run side by side through the corner. Mansell gets the place done, and now here comes David Innes. He's side by side into Graham Hill Bend. Helliwell keeps the inside line, he stays in front. This is a great scrapper near the rear of the field. You see battles all the way through the field in historic Formula Ford racing. Love it now, starting to break away from this battle. Again, Innes goes up on the inside of Helliwell. This time he gets the move done. You see the blue flags waving, which means here he is, Callum Grant, the race leader, squeezing up on the inside. And now Helliwell using the slipstream of Innes and goes round the outside of him as Mallock chases Grant into Paddock Hill Bend. He tries to go round the outside to try and get the lead. Can't do it though, so he cuts back. Grant darting there past the back marker. And that's Andrew Mansell, isn't it? Then Mallock looks to the outside. Can't do it though. Down to Grattan Hill Bend now. On board with Mallock. Looks to the outside of Grant. Grant defended that though. Got to defend his position and get past his back markers. James Lovett. Grant dives to the inside of. Mallock coming through now. He's trying to use the slipstream of Grant at the same time though. John Slack next. Is they going to catch him at Paddock Hill Bend possibly? So Grant looks to the inside. Slack gave him room. Mallock has to use the curbs there. Can't quite find a way past. So he's going to have to do that at Druids. He does that now. He's gone too deep into the corner though. He runs out wide. He's in the gravel. Michael Mallock in the gravel then. And he's going to get passed again by all of these cars. He's just been lapping on these. He's going to have to do that all over again. He shakes the gravel out of the car. But Callum Grant now has got a much bigger lead. He did rejoin in second place nevertheless, did Michael Mallock. He's just too late on the brakes there it seemed. And ran out wide. Buckton under pressure from Will Nuttall up across the Brabham Straight now. Here comes Nuttall around the outside. About halfway distance. Oh, the two cars came very close together there. Nuttall couldn't do the move around the outside. So, what about in towards Druids? He looks to the outside. And Simon Toyne up on the inside and makes contact with James Buckton. And he spins around and Simon Brown comes through. He gains 3 places. He was 6th, now he's 3rd. But contact between Simon Toyne and James Buckton at the hairpin. Let's take another look at that. Toyne was 5th going up the hill. Dived up on the inside and tagged Buckton into a spin. Simon Toyne is retiring his car, there's damage. But James Buckton continuing, but much further down the field. Will Nuttall then, looking to find a way past Simon Brown, then nose to tail there. Nuttall's in the slipstream. He goes to the inside line of Brown. Can't find room there though. Slides his way through Paddock Hill Bend. He's right on the gearbox of Brown's car. Brown has to defend the line, heading up to the hill, but late on the brakes is Nuttall. He's trying to go around the outside. He's on the inside line now as they go down the hill into Graham Hill Bend. That was a great move from Will Nuttall. He kept around the outside at Druids and then came up on the inside for Graham Hill Bend. So see Grant's lead now to Mallock. Then side by side, James Lovett trying to go around the outside of John Slack. Slack stands his ground on the inside and stays in front. Then Nuttall in 3rd, pulling away from Simon Brown, who's coming under pressure from Max Bartel now. There's James Buckton recovering. He's in 6th. Then the battle of 7th. And a spin for Pickett, Dan Pickett. Loops around. Is he going to be able to get back going? He does, but he's lost many of positions. See what happened there then. Hard to diagnose why the car spun from that camera shot. Let's have a look from behind on board with Danny Stansel. Pickett late on the brakes in fact, and I think they just got out onto the dirty line on the outside of Paddock. On board with John Slack now, heading down towards Paddock Hill Bend. James Lovett tried this last time. He gets it done though this time through Paddock. He was later on the brakes than Slack. So Lovett goes through. He's gained the position there. And now up on the inside, that's Bartel. Bartel lapping John Slack. And then he'll have to lap James Lovett. He'll do that on the run down the Cooper Straight. Go to the inside. Good bit of driving from both there. So now is James Lovett going to try and break away from John Slack, possibly? He's trying to do that. Aboard with Danny Stansel, who's involved in this battle with Roland Spencer, who gets sideways in front of him. And Danny goes up on the inside through Clark Curve and gets the move done. Just in front as well is Brian Morris, who's in 7th. So Danny Stansel, Ronan Svensson actually had a good run down the Brabham Straight, goes round the outside into paddock, gets the position back. Danny Stansel hugely sideways. He saves it though. There's the race leader, Callum Grant. Second, Michael Mallock. See the car right on the limit through Surtees. There's the noseless Jamin of Will Nuttall and Bartel in fourth. Andrew Mansell all over the back of John Slack as well. And off has gone Chris Helliwell. He's pulled off there possibly. He's had a spin in fact on the exit of Graham Hill Bend and stalled the car, so he clambers out of his car and he's going to push the car to the side of the road. Good thinking there from Chris Helliwell. Final lap of the race and Callum Grant is going to win again this season, the 2014 historic Formula Ford Championship. He sees a checker flag and he's delighted with that, is Callum. He wins here at Brands Hatch from the penultimate round of the season before we head to Silverstone in a few weeks' time for the HSCC finals weekend. And he won that race by just 3.5 seconds in the end as Michael Mallock tried to close him down. Third was Will Nuttall. Max Bartel finished in fourth as Simon Brown retired with a few laps to go. So James Buckton come up to fifth and Brian Morris sixth. Ronan Svensson and Danny Stansel, the last two cars not to get lapped. Kevin Stansel and Daniel Pickett rounded off the top 10. There were a couple of cars got disqualified for being underweight, I believe. Championship then, Ben Simpson, he's the champion, he went here this weekend. Max Bartel in second with a 22-point lead to James Buckton, so that'd be interesting going to Silverstone, with Callum Grant also possible to get into the top three ahead of Buckton. And Michael O'Brien's fifth. Brian Morris, Simon Torn, Percy Kaviri, Will Nuttall and Michael Mallock are the top 10 in the championship.